Number five. Number five. This is from Green is Great. Can you be saved but not elect? Confused by Mark 13:20. Will the elect be taken by the rapture, or will they suffer the tribulation? All right, let's get into this. Mark 13:20. I want to say, guys, I have taught through Mark verse by verse the entire book of Mark, and when I got to Mark 13, I stopped and I did some stuff on end times that you might want to spend some time on. You can check out the Mark series playlist on my YouTube channel, or you can go to BibleThinker.org, and there's a whole like series button for all the videos in Mark, and you can find the one where I talk about this passage in great detail. So Mark 13:20 says, "And if the Lord had not cut short the days, no human being would be saved, but for the sake of the elect, whom he chose, he shortened those days." So we're reading here about there's this time of suffering and tribulation upon the earth, and it will be cut short. It's limited. It's not going to go on forever. And the reason why it's limited is because of the elect. Because God has people who he's saving. He's not just judging the world, he's also saving people out of it. So there's like a limit to how much he'll do. And your question, I'll read it again, now that we've read through the passage. Can you be saved but not elect? Confused by Mark 13:20. So the two interpretations of elect that spring to my mind as I'm reading this right now with you is one that elect is referring to people who are saved, and the other is that elect refers to like groups of people, like say the nation of Israel. Well, God has a plan to do something amazing in the nation of Israel, so he doesn't want to totally destroy them. Now, if the first one is accurate, if the first interpretation holds, which is what I would lean towards, for the sake of the elect whom he chose, that these are the ones that are saved, then I also think every elect is saved. That's my impression. You probably have some pushback on that. Forgive me, I don't see it in your question there, so I won't try to comment. The other interpretation is, hey, no, this is Israel's God's elect. We read about Israel being God's elect in the Old Testament. We're continuing that here, and that's what the word elect means. I don't think you can hold that true, national Israel. I don't think you can hold that consistently as you read through the New Testament, and so I don't lean that way. If that's the case, well, you could have people in the nation of Israel that aren't necessarily saved. So yeah, So that to add, I guess, a little bit to that, the admonition here, after being told that there's going to be these great and difficult times ahead, is to Christians, people who are trusting in Christ. He's like, hey, there's those who are elect, which I would take to be Christians, and then the admonition is, and then if anyone says to you, look, here's the Christ, or look, there he is, don't believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform signs and wonders. And so he warns them against false Christs. This could only be a warning, I think, for people who are trusting in Jesus, right? For who else would listen to Jesus's words? So yeah, I'm going to say elect there. Now, can you be elect and not saved, or saved and not elect? I don't think so. However, I want to just leave one door open. Every passage in the Bible doesn't have to use the word elect the same way. I think this passage seems to be using it to refer to Christians. There's some passages that might be referring to, say, the nation of Israel, especially the Old Testament. So I don't think that we need to think God can only use the word elect with one definition throughout the entire Bible. That's too strict of a thing. And this is a mistake I see all the time for those of us who care about theology. In theology, we define terms, like, say, the word justification or elect. And then what we do is we sometimes read as though the Bible's always using those terms with those definitions. And it can make us confused as we approach different passages.